public speaker extraordinary and Minister of Sports Gayton McKenzie makes the weirdest, strangest U-turn speech of his life that by the end of me recording this video, I will have a headache, probably. But if you stay till the end, you'll see that this is not just a bashing video, and you'll come out with something vital to get so that you are well positioned as a voter and we can hopefully have prosperity in our country. So let's go back 2 years ago and hear Minister Gayton McKenzie being asked about land. And this is what he says.
Let's start with the first one, which is obviously the elephant in the room that everybody talks about. That's EWC. Where do you start on EWC?
You know, for me, is that on a personal level, I believe in EWC. I believe it on a personal level. I would like to see redress. I would like to see a better revenge. You know, that's a personal level. But you see, as a leader, you don't have that luxury of bringing your personal things here. So we cannot expropriate without compensation. In the current economic climate where we are in the world, when we want to go, suicide on that way is to implement EWC. What I am saying is there should be redress, land should be returned, but that land should not be returned without compensation. Because once you lose property rights, once you lose that, where you will go down because no person will invest, this country will become uninvestable. And when that happens, it's Armageddon. So I am saying it cannot be that people are sitting with 90% of the land, but they're only 10% of the population. But what I'm saying is expropriate the land, but with compensation. It happens all over the world. It doesn't affect the economy much. But if you're going to take land and give nobody nothing, the guy that's planning to bring the billion in the country will say, my billion is not safe. We might not like it on a personal level. I don't like it too, but that's just the right thing to do now.
It cannot be that 90% of the population has 10% of the land. I guess he's speaking as just a matter of speaking. Okay, let's just move on from there. So this is what Minister Gayton McKenzie sort of mapped out just before we went into elections as his, his priorities in the manifesto. Hear him for yourself.
Now I'm saying to you today, don't vote for the PA, but definitely don't vote for the DA. Vote for Action SA or Freedom Front Plus, because your votes are going straight to the Tuli House. Helen Zeller told you that, but you want to be soothed that it is not like that. Never vote for me, because the 5 things I'm going to do is things that most of you do not like. So don't vote for me. Number 1, I'm going to bring God back into schools, into South Africa, because God has been written out of our constitution. Number 2, I'm going to make sure that every child over the age of 18 goes to the army. Whether you like it, whether you're white, whether you're black, whether you're gay, whether you're straight, you can throw the gun away, but you are going. Number 3, I'm going to mass deport all illegal foreigners and punish business people that still keep them for a day or two. Now you're not clapping, I can see. Number 4, I'm going to make sure that we get rid of white, black, Indian, colored. On the paper, black people, white people, colored people, Indian people will be known on the paper only as South Africans. It's time for us to, everybody kicks the can. Everybody gets away from the racism issue. Let's deal with the 2 issues we're bothering this country. Race and land. Number 1, get away from race. Let's be one nation under God and build this country together and make South Africa great. Number 2, the land issue. You know, I just laugh when I see all these debates. We want the land and we're not going to give you the land. Here's this simple story what the PA stands for. We say, if you have land, that's fine. The state got lots of land that they can give to whoever wants land. But here's the issue. If you are a black man that wants land, or a colored man or a white man, or any man, You got to have that land needs to be productive. It needs to give people jobs. It needs to pay land. We need to see productivity happening on the land. If not, we will then take that land from you and compensate you. So you can have 300 farms, but if those 300 farms are not producing, and you only produce on 4 of them, we will take 296 farms and pay you market value for your farms.
Okay, so scrap race. If you can't trace who's black from an ID, it would mean BE out the window, equity out the window. Because if you don't know what the race is on paper, it means all the laws that recognize race would fall away. And on land, we'll take land from you if you're not using it productively, but we will compensate you. So it's very clear, no expropriation without compensation, no playing racial politics and identity politics. Now, just recently, Minister goes on the State of the Nation with Mike Sham and makes a speech that I will be massaging my head as it goes, but I just need you to hear him on race, on land, on the ANC. In advance, I apologize for language for those who might find offense. Whew. I don't know what to say on this video except to play this. Let's go. Let's hear.
But let me start with the vet issue, which I think is the most critical. You know, most white people will ask black people this question. White people cannot get it over the mind, or they can't fathom. Why is it that black people that are suffering is still voting for the ANC? A lot of white people say, but why are they still getting the votes? Let's take the worst one for you. White people cannot understand that Jacob Zuma is the most loved man in this country. I mean, they cannot get their minds to understand that fact, that the most loved man in South Africa by a mile is Jacob Zuma. You're sitting there like, he's talking shit. No, I'm not talking shit. The numbers will show you that. He's loved. Now, just as you can't understand that, it doesn't stop there. There's a lot of stuff, and it just so happened that the white people own the media space. So what you read is what they think. And what they think, what you read becomes the national conversation, which is sometimes framed on some white journalist opinion of what happens in this country. Let me make you a few examples. The vet issue. The media has framed that the ANC does not want to, they just want it their way or the highway. That's what you all know. That's what you all read. That's not true. I'm there. That's not true. And the DA allows that lie to continue. Let me show you why that's not true. I'll make you 3 examples. Number 1 example, Bella. The day when Bella was supposed to be signed was on a Friday. The ANC, the rebels in the ANC were dancing. Yes, we're signing Bella today. The Freedom Front Plus, the Patriotic Alliance, and the DA. We were very unhappy with it. President Ramaphosa called us. He said, because you are unhappy with this, I'm not going to sign it. Now, that's not the actions of a person that, he said, I'm going to refer that back, and then all the parties must come and renegotiate, and he was not even part of the renegotiation of Bella. But when you read the ANC wants Bella. We were defeated in a boardroom. Helen Zeller formed part of that discussions. We call it the clearinghouse. Now, it's not entirely true to say the ANC just wanted their way. And I made you one example with Bella. The president went against his own people that said sign. And when he postponed it for 3 months for us to negotiate, people said, you're scared of the white people, you're scared of the DA. He took that bullets. No, that's not what you've read. But that's exactly what happened. And I know you don't want to hear that. That's what happened. Now, is that the actions of a party that wanted their way? There was war in the ANC for the fact that there was even a postponement. And that's the facts. Number 2, the finance minister walks in 2 hours before the budget. 2 hours. And he says, I propose a 2 percentage point increase. We said, hell no. Now I'm talking to reasonable people. He said, hell no. We said, hell no to him. We said, over our dead bodies, we're not going to get 2%. Then a viewer said that we can't postpone the budget vote because constitutionally it's not allowed. We said, no, let's go check. Came back, he said, no, we can't postpone. They postponed. They postponed from 2 percentage points. We went to 0.5. Now you must be stupid to not see that as a win. I'm sorry. Negotiation took us from 2 percentage point to 0.5. How is that not a win? How is that not a win? For the first time, the ANC will come for 30 years. The finance minister will come, bring a budget. The ANC members will listen for the first time and hear for the first time what's in the budget. This time it was different. And what makes it worse, the deputy finance minister is from the Democratic Alliance. Surely he has been part of these discussions. Surely he must have been part of these discussions. So I made you 2 examples of this narrative that the ANC just wanted their way. NHI is not this administration, it's the previous administration. Even Bella. I'm trying to, the Expropriation Act, the ANC has not expropriated without compensation for 30 years. And I don't think they're about to do that now.
Shoot me!
But this thing was blown out of proportion. It's the ANC's fault. Because they're the worst communicators on earth. They bring out this bill. They don't adequately communicate to say we are looking for unused land. Land with no ownership. Because they're just the worst communicators. Somebody was telling me they were too long underground, that they don't really understand how to communicate properly and effectively. Now, I'm saying these things that you might not want to hear, but you're going to hear today. Now, that must tell you that you look at what happens in cabinet. Who's not giving you what we discuss? Everybody has a view. There's no ANC, DA, PA in cabinet. I didn't like President Ramaphosa, and I've come to respect him so much because I've seen the role that he plays inside. I've come to appreciate the role that he plays in the ANC because you have the hawks and you have the doves in the ANC. That's a fact. And he's got to balance that. In the GNU, you've got John C. Razel on this side, you've got Gayton McKenzie on the other side. He's got to balance that. And he does that with a plan. He does it excellently. Now, here's what pisses me off. Instead of us coming to South Africa and say, well, we won a battle for you. We brought VAT down to 0.5. No, the DA is not doing that. They say the DA will fight for you, there will be no VAT. Now, if you think the ANC is just going to get rid of VAT, it's not going to happen. But we've already had the victory. And then the DA had to go over the finishing line. Do you know how much our economy, the distress of the markets, the anxiety of the people has been caused by this 0.5? If you look at it, it's probably 0.05% of the total budget. But we've lost billions. We've lost billions because the DA wants to showboat and you don't want to accept that. They are showboating. They are beating the chest. Where does Bella come into the budget discussion? It's like arguing with your wife about leaving the toilet seat up and then she talks about what you did in 1986. 1986, you text that woman, if there was even text that time. That has nothing to do. So we can't be doing a power play at this stage where people are so positive about the GNU. When we travel, I'm just from London. The only question I got, the GNU, will it survive? We are dealing here with our country. And now we must now fight because the DA wants to prove a point and the ANC wants to prove a point. We must never, ever find ourselves again where we are now. Because let me tell you what I was listening to Dr. Cronje asking a question saying, will the DA attempt to remove Cyril Ramaphosa? It's you. You know, you are playing with fire. Let me tell you why you play with fire. Any person who wants to remove Cyril that will vote, I can tell you the party I stand for will never be part of anything to remove Cyril Ramaphosa. And I tell you why. What you must understand is that the ANC was always blessed with level-headed people that understand the economy. I'm going to repeat that, and I'm going to tell you why I'm saying that. The ANC has always been blessed with level-headed people that understand the economy. That has just been the saving grace. If you ask me, do I want expropriation without compensation? Deep down in my heart, when I'm alone, yes, I want it. I want white people also to feel how my grandfather felt when he was told, pack your bags. Wow. I want to take the land. I want to take the land. But if I have to vote on it, I will never. Because I understand the markets. I understand the markets. I understand that once you expropriate without compensation, once there's no property rights, you have no country left. The country becomes uninvestable. I understand that. And for that reason, I will never vote for expropriation without compensation. It's an emotional thing for black people. It's not as simple as Mike made it here. Black people are going to lose their houses. But he doesn't say what white people are going to lose. You're going to lose your farms. Our houses is nothing compared to your houses. So we might lose our house and then get your house. And these are the facts that no politician is willing to put their neck out to say. Expropriation without compensation does not work anymore in this world. Don't go far. Zimbabwe. Expropriation without compensation. The ANC is not just, you know, it has been taken out of context. Oh. But MK and the EFF, no matter what we think of them, they're very clear. We will expropriate without compensation. Now, go ahead. Toy was this idea. Toy was this idea that you want to put the ANC in a position to go with EFF. Malema is no stupid. Zuma is definitely not as stupid. You push the ANC far enough, they will have, you leave the DA is busy pushing the ANC, and with your cheering them on, yes, go. Sir, you are fucking around with your children's future. There will be no child of yours that will be left in this country if we continue not calling out the DA for what has happened. This whole fight of that, I put squarely at the door of the DA. Don't tell me about NHI. Don't tell me about Bella. We've had a chance to fight over those things. What if we bring up apartheid? You can't bring all things. You are shifting the goalpost. We talk about that. Nobody wants that. No one. I had to go and explain to my people why I voted for the framework. And why am I going to vote for 0.5%? Because once again, our government is not good in communicating. They should have said.
Okay, so this is what we call a word salad, because I'm getting a headache because I'm trying to have a list in my head so I can tell you what he said, but it's too much. Okay, expropriation. No, it's just the only problem with it is ANC is not able to communicate well. That's number one, which is a nonsense argument, because if you pass a law and you release a statement, the statement doesn't matter. If you execute the law tomorrow, I can't bring a newspaper statement and say this is my defense in court. So that's a nonsense one. But number two, The ANC has never expropriated before, so why would they start now? Because they didn't have the act before. That's just you fighting us for a. Number 3 is there's no problem with the act, it's just understood wrongly because it's just about abandoned buildings or something. It's just ANC propaganda that's going on. Of course, he says VAT will never happen. Well, that's got to be embarrassing watching it now. But he's just going on and praising Ramaphosa as if we didn't have Mr. McKenzie telling us what a mess. Oh, that's another one. The ANC is great with economics. The only person who's lost us money is the DA with fighting for the VAT. And then, so basically what's happening is McKenzie is going on a full-blown marketing desk for ANC propaganda that goes against his own beliefs because he doesn't believe in expropriation. In fact, when Ramaphosa signed expropriation, this is how he put it. Ramaphosa stabbed us in the back by signing Expropriation Act. And of course, we saw him 2 years ago saying expropriation without compensation will kill an economy. We saw him a year before saying expropriation must be with compensation. When it was signed, he says he stabbed us in the back. Now he's coming back to say, nah, it's actually not a big deal. They never expropriated. And nah, the only problem is they never spoke properly. They just want a couple of buildings. Let's just check. Maybe there'll be something about buildings here. This is expropriation to provide for the expropriation of property for a public purpose or in the public interest, to regulate the procedure for expropriation of property for a public purpose or in the public interest, including payment of compensation, and to show when there'll be nil compensation. That's without compensation. I don't know, man. Like, what's this about old buildings? This has nothing to do with old buildings. It's just a broad law. Okay, then he brings up Expropriation Bill NHI. And of course, that's the ANC's political strategy. Because this budget will be about black and white, right? It was that strategy because they thought if we keep accusing them of NHI, Bella Bill and whatever, those are already positioned as black-white acts, even though they are not. They're parents versus government. And so they're positioned that way. And then he says, why is the ANC bringing that? That's just ANC propaganda. The DA did release what their fighting point was. There were 6 priorities on economy, growth, and delivering jobs. But of course, you know, and part of this, how the propaganda. Let me tell you what I don't like about propaganda that must win black people. It all assumes if you want to hide something from a black person, hide it in a book. So all propaganda that's meant to reach black people is presupposing these people don't read. So anyway, that was one of it. And the DA did release a statement and the letters when they were negotiating. And Bella Bill was not in there. And NHI was not in there. Because Bella Bill is sitting with the DA minister right now. Like, we know this. And someone says, oh, are you fighting for the DA? No. I'm saying don't call me stupid. If you're going to target communication at me, don't insult me. Don't insult my intelligence, because I did pass standard 6. I hate it. There we go. I've said it. So anyway, we did see what they fought for. And here, they said no new VAT. Tax base is too small. Wealth tax, blah, blah. cut unnecessary government expenditure, cost cutting, cut advertising budget. That's not doctors and lawyers, of course, but that's fine. Then at least I understand you playing politics. But I just hate the thinking of black people are stupid, they're just angry, they just envious, they have no brain, they never open a book. And that comes from the black parties. Extremely offensive. And the fact that Gayton has decided to jump on that, I really find it extremely offensive. You're insulting our intelligence. So it was, you could have used this because they were saying fast track the logistics to Cape Town and Richards Bay, right? Now, a smart person will understand, of course, that's a port and it's in the province, but it will impact the whole economy. But at least you can say they just want their own port. See, now that's propaganda that at least respects people and the concessions for infrastructure, right? There's no Bella here. There's no all this stuff of just trying to play black anger. Comprehensive spending review to reprioritize 58 billion. And adjust, increase revenue, increase tax compliance and all of that. No cuts to frontline workers, right? So at least, they were lying and saying the DA is saying cut frontline. Fine. The SRD grant should be converted to a job seeker's allowance. So, DA wasn't cutting the grant. But I think I have a problem with the person who was saying let's remove race and let's not deal land, then being the mouthpiece of race baiting and making excuses for land. So I don't know. I'm angry because I'm disappointed in Minister of Sports. Like, so disappointing. I don't know. So disappointing. So he's not a Marxist, but red flags. Too many red flags with McKenzie. And a wise person is cautious and turns from evil, but a fool throws off restraint and is overconfident. I don't even know what I said, but maybe let's say this video is about you. Forget what I said. I couldn't structure this. Please go down and you share your thoughts. But guys, stop it, man. Stop it. And I don't like it coming from Gayton because he should know better. If it came from Julius, fine. If it came from Gayton, fine. If it came from, some MK person, fine. They are racist parties that believe blacks are stupid and all their communication is set up for a stupid person. But from Gayton, don't take us for fools, man. Don't take us for stupids. You know better than that. You really know better than that. People who vote for you assume you're better than that. Mr. Gayton McKenzie, this has been the most disappointing thing we've ever heard from you. We expected more from you. Let's make history together.